Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. Alan Gilbreth left. He ran over to the boat show.
Well, I mean, he's got to get the spices prepped.
He couldn't stick around for, okay, whatever. But filling his seat, you guys, it's that time of year. Mid-South Con is on the horizon, the Mid-South's longest-running fandom convention at this point, right? We're up to number 41. And so our old buddies are in the house. We have Denise Hager, who is the head of programming, and Danny Chamberlin, the marketing director. You guys, great to have you in.
Hi.
Hello.
You awake? I know what it's like a month outside of, before you get to the convention. How is your sleep? How are your brain cells?
Danny doesn't sleep anyway.
Okay.
No, I'm an insomniac, which helps. But it's still a lot to, because you can't stop living your life, but such a passion of love that you kind of, bang your head against a wall lovingly.
Is it a passion? Is running a convention it has to be, because why else would you do it? Nobody really, unless you do it, you don't have any idea how much work it actually is. So no.
It's so worth it, though. I mean, it is probably the most rewarding job, and I do say job in some ways, that, I do outside of being a mom, I think. But,
come on, helping to run a convention is like being the mom to like 500 plus people.
500 cats, basically. So.
I mean, I'm only in my 40th year of doing it, and I'm still good with. I'm only in my 40th year of doing it, and I'm still good with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and I grew up with this con. I started as a teenager and just kept going and getting more involved, and even when I swore I wouldn't, got more involved. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Brandon, we always get new listeners. There's always people maybe they haven't heard of the convention scene out here, and maybe they haven't heard of Mid-South Con. I hate to say it. Don't look at me that way, Denise. I mean, there are people that don't know about all that.
How many times have you done a promo table?
Yeah.
And you see somebody who comes through and goes, I didn't realize Memphis had these things.
Right.
And it's like every time you turn around, you hear that. You could turn it into a drinking game and have liver poisoning by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, it really is a geek market for Memphis, and like it's this hidden thing. You can find gaming any night of the week here. There's so many things that tap into cons and con environment, and it's a real gem, particularly with the schools and everything else that the colleges here, and you can we bring students in and things like that, and we are a nonprofit, and it is for education purposes too, but. There's so much that taps in, and there's so many, you wouldn't know it, but Memphis is kind of, it does have that nerd geek mecca in its own way, and it's great, from cosplay to, nerddoms to fandoms to, science to, gaming.
Speaking of gaming, you're technically 24 hours a day, right? Is gaming ever shut down anymore?
At 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Okay, so you open on Friday.
We open it Friday at 2, and they stay going till 6. And there's overnight games that you can just check out and play. Scheduled games end, I think, at the last one that's set is 11, so they end about 2. Yeah. So and there's Werewolf that happens all night. So there really is gaming. And if you've ever been to Gen Con, our Werewolf for Mid-South Con is what Cardhalia is for Gen Con. It just started as this little, one-person thing that built up, and now it's become this sanctioned thing, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say gaming is sort of a hallmark of Mid-South Con, isn't it? I mean, board gaming especially, right?
There are over 500 board games in the board game library that you can just come and check out. And there's play-to-wins that, the companies send to us to give away for you play it and try it, and you have a chance to win it and take it home. So, and there's a raffle. So there's a lot going on in gaming. And then all against that, there's tons of programming and panels with scientists and authors and book writers. And, authors are book writers, I guess, but still editors. And, so much to talk about, and just fandoms and stuff that are happening, too, while that's happening.
Yeah. And it's one of the best, conventions are great shopping experiences. I always highlight that because, and if you're savvy, there's a lot of free stuff. There's a lot of, I mean, it's not that hard to win games and things like that, right? And there's usually good deals on collectibles and artwork. It's a really great place to shop.
The dealer's room is, I got to say, Beverly is doing a beautiful job with our dealer's room. It's well packed out with different types and different niches, from Pokemon and all your CCGs and all your, comic books to more games to just niche, really neat little products that you won't necessarily find in an average store, but are made by, people that you would end up buying on. It's like an Etsy shop all in one place.
Yeah.
It live. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, last year, for example, we had a scavenger hunt that the dealers helped with. So there were things all over the con. And then most of those vendors that were in the, dealer's room submitted a prize that you were able to win. And it was that as our 40th anniversary, thing. And that was great.
No, it's a lot of fun. Actually, we didn't give it. Maybe we ought to give some dates. And
let them
before
guess.
we
we
hit
should
the
tell
break,
people
where
where we
is
are.
it and when is it? Yeah.
It's at the Vitality Hotel off of Thousand Oaks Boulevard, and it is March 20th through the 22nd.
How do people get tickets?
They can go to midsouthcon.org, go to the registration link, and it'll take them to the registration page.
Which is on tabletop.events. So you can go online, and you can also get us there by just searching Mid-South-Con in tabletop events, because we're using it as our administration site, and everything will be connected through that.
And once so you can pre-register, get your tickets in advance. I know that shuts down at some point, but you can still walk up and get your tickets.
At the door, yeah.
Right.
And
but when do you shut down pre-registration?
2 weeks before. The 6th.
So the early March. Then.
Yeah.
So,
March
so
6th.
it's coming up in a couple weeks, but then you'll be able to walk up at the door, and I think it's the same price for that. It's just registering real quick.
okay.
And then they'll help you and get you a badge and everything, and you're good for the weekend.
Yeah.
If you get in by March 6th, you'll have a pre-printed badge.
Okay, cool. The badges are fun too. I think I have just about every one of my badges from all the conventions. I don't know. I just like to say those things.
I used to. I don't anymore.
The badges
the flood killed the badges.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. The badges have original art from our our guest of honor, because we have a series of guests every year that are professionals that come in from their industries.
Awesome.
But yeah, our guest of honor will have art for the badge.
Awesome. We're you're listening to Geek Tank Radio. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Warning, Romulan ale has been known to cause diarrhea. The Geek Patrol is back.
Gosh, don't be serving that at Mid-South Con. And we'll come back to Geek Tank Radio. I forgot about that, Brandon.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't imbibe, sir.
I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass, and sitting in for the absent Alan Gilbreth, who's over there at the boat show selling his Allen Spices.
The spices.
Is our friends Denise Hager, head of programming for Mid-South Con, and Danny Chamberlin, marketing director of Mid-South Con. And folks, I really would encourage you to go to their website.
You can't say it that way though, Joe.
What?
That sitting in for Alan, because now he's going to be bragging that it takes 2 people to fill his spot.
Oh yeah. Well, it's anyway. But the thing is, Mid-South Con is the longest running convention in town. And it's what did it start off? It wasn't always called Mid-South Con, right?
It's been through a bunch of different names. The very early conventions in the late 70s were Steve's Half a Con, Just Imagine It's a Con, Imagination Con.
I know it was Deep Space at one point. Also, it was before my time. I don't even think I was born yet. Yeah.
But, so technically the first Mid-South Con, we start our numbering at Mid-South Con 2 because Mid-South Con 1 was held in the early 60s in Huntsville.
Right.
And then we became Mid-South Con 2, I believe it was 80.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Huntsville had that. So that's the thing. Sometimes you run into naming issues.
It was also a Deep South Con. There's this rotating convention called Deep South Con, so it was also that. So, but we asked to use the name Mid-South Con and got permission.
Deep Space Con was our 25th anniversary, right?
Oh.
Deep South.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have lots of happy memories of Mid-South Con over the last, 25 years, however long I've been going. But, and What I appreciate, Danny, is some of the like. Okay, for example, I don't know this was 7 or 8 years ago. You had Mike Carlin, who was well, he's big in DC Comics, but he's also he helps make a lot of their animated and stuff.
Yeah,
super nice guy. And
I
okay,
believe
you can just walk up and talk to him. One of
yeah.
the things I love is the celebrities are very accessible.
I believe he's doing the Dick Tracy Daily now too.
Yeah. And it's
but
neat.
he was a director of it. He had green-lighted a lot of projects for them.
Yeah. But that's the nature of things. And so, and as Alan always says, you never know who you'll be on the elevator with or something. But Danny, do you got some guests pulled up there that we can talk about?
So our author guest of honor is John Hartness. He owns a publishing company called Falstaff Books, and he's a prolific writer. He has some funny comedic stories, the Bubble Chronicles. He also has the Quincy Harker Demon Hunter series and the Black Knight Chronicles.
And he'll be there with his books, obviously.
Yep.
And
and
doing
he's
panels.
super fan approachable, and he's a lot of fun. Like when you listen to him, he's got his YouTube channel and everything, and they're interesting to watch. So I'm really excited to have him.
Awesome.
And then we have artist Todd Lockwood. Todd was supposed to be our guest of honor last year, but due to various circumstances, he wasn't able, and graciously said he'd come back this year, and he is. And he's world famous. He has done numerous book covers throughout the genre. He is one of the quintessential dragon artists. If you see a dragon art, a lot of times it's his.
Particularly,
that's what I love about conventions. You get all these niche things. If you want to see somebody that knows how to draw steampunk, rabbit ears, this is the artist for that. But
and that's
so
what
a dragon artist. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to limit him to that. That's what he's most famous for, and that's one of his he's published a coffee table book for that. But he does everything across the gamut.
Yeah.
That's what I love too, is meeting all the artists, and you get there. So he'll have prints, I'm sure, and there's maybe some custom work. I don't know.
And there's chances to meet the artists, like we have Meet the Guest, so you can literally walk up and eat a meal with them. And they're so accessible. There's no major lines or fees to see them or talk to them.
Yeah, they're right there. So, what else you got, Danny?
Speaking of artists, we've got Tom Wynn. He's currently with DC, but he's been with Marvel and DC and independent comic artist. He's done Man of Steel, Green Lantern,
Wonder
Justice
Woman.
League, all the big hitters. He'll be there. Then we're going to have Darwin's Toys owner, Trella Bromley. And her big thing is they do a lot of train-based games. Empire.
Wait a minute. Train-based games.
Yes.
It's a genre unto itself in gaming.
Wait a minute.
There's a Train Gamers Association.
There actually is. And
what does that mean?
So it's like these are people who play games that are based on things like Ticket to Ride and
Ticket to Ride is almost a kid's game in comparison to some of these games. But you've got long, detailed games that will go for even 12 hours at a time that are train. It's I'm telling you, a whole genre of series of these games. I think there's tournaments to them and everything else.
A train game. Okay, so there's the train genre, like Murder on the Orient Express or something.
One of these days, I'm going to get you into a gaming conversation with people who play all those games.
I was actually watching a video, a documentary on Prime. I think it's called Hobby. It's all about board gaming. I was watching that. I'm going to finish it tonight. So
awesome.
Anyway, sorry, Danny, we interrupted, but that's interesting. That's the stuff you learn. It's like that's why you should talk to everybody at Mid-South Con. You learn a lot of these things, but okay.
And because we always like one of our focuses is education and science.
Right.
We have Dr. Sarah Lewis from St. Jude. She's a developmental neurogeneticist and does research into some of the childhood diseases that, of course, St. Jude is famous for. And she'll be giving panels on some of the research that she's doing.
She's also a published author at this point. She does short stories and poems. She wanted to do a poetry jam, but yeah.
And I mean, you talk about state-of-the-art science going on over at St. Jude, so and you can feel good about it because, I mean, look what they're doing. So
I mean, the people at St. Jude are just, they're levels above all of us.
And
whether it comes in humanities or science, whatever. They all deserve praise.
And if I could offer this advice too, folks, if you're new to Mid-South Con, don't overlook the science panels. Some of the coolest panels I've been to are the science panels, especially when they're talking about space science or all of these things.
Some of the funniest occurrences are in the science panels.
Right. But there's a lot going on at Mid-South Con 41, and we're going to continue to talk about it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Wait, are you saying there's a final fight full of CGI where the hero fights a bad guy who has similar powers? Yeah, I guess so. Now that is a Marvel third act. I love it.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And Alan, as we mentioned, is over at the boat show selling spices.
He's hawking spice.
Yeah, and we're not kidding. AlanSpices.com, that's the place to get your... I hate giving him credit, but it is a pretty great company he's put together here.
And it's growing exponentially. It's like every time I turn around, he's got 10 new spices for me to try.
And they're good. The blends are really good, like surprisingly. And I hate to say surprisingly, but...
I wouldn't say surprise. Alan knows how to cook, so...
Well, surprisingly in that there's so many of them out there, and yet it excels. Like it's worth it.
But sitting in for our buddy Alan Gilbreth is Denise Hager, who's the head of programming for Mid-South Con, and Danny Chamberlin, the marketing director for Mid-South Con, because it's right around the corner, March 20th through 22nd, the 41st Mid-South Con, which actually there would be more if it wasn't for, COVID and things like that. We'd probably be up to like number 44. But regardless, it's right around the corner, and there's a lot happening. And Danny, before the break, you were kind of giving us a rundown of some of the guests, and there's actually more that we didn't get to. So
Yep. So as far as what we call our guests of honor, we also have, we can't ever leave out our Toastmaster in residence, all-around raconteur, Paul Blachek of Ardani Studios.
I disagree. I completely disagree.
Yeah.
At this point, Paul is staff.
Why isn't he a staff member? He's there every year.
He at least deserves the
he
title.
He doesn't want the title.
He at least deserves the title of family.
He does.
He just wants to.
He is family.
He just wants to run the mic and DJ the dance. That's all.
So
he doesn't want to be put to work.
Yeah, he asked to be the permanent master of toast, as he put it. I'm considering giving him a whole platter of it this year, of buttered toast.
Their family, though, they're artists, man. They have a cool booth too.
Yeah, they're Ardani Studios, so they're all the fantasy prosthetics and stuff that you would get, and you can order them, and they're getting big.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that another one of these niche markets, like, oh, you need a elf ear from the third quadrant of such and such, and oh yeah, we've got those. What color?
Yeah, Paul's an artist. They also help run one of the premier Robert Jordan conventions in the country called JordanCon. Mm-hmm. But he's an artist. His brother Mike is an artist, and his brother Mike has his own RPG out called Sagaborn,
which is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so Ardani Studios is a cornerstone of our dealer room also.
And Paul's won the Chelsea Award and some other major art awards for his art. So
yeah, it's good stuff. I think I have a couple of their prints. So
it's always fun though to go up to him and tell him Mike's better.
Yeah, and watch his face a little bit twitch.
Pit him brother against brother.
Well, that's how you.
They're so close though, and these is what brothers should be.
Right. Yeah, they work together really well. So, all right, Danny.
And then we're going to have lots of other panelists. Denise is hard at work with the programming, getting all that slotted in. And we're going to have our typical run the gamut covering various comics, current genre topics that are important to the people right now. And it's going to be all going on starting Friday afternoon at 2 on March 20th.
And it literally doesn't stop. I mean,
it doesn't. It goes just like gaming all weekend. I mean, I think there is a break between like 1 a.m. and 8 a.m. for programming. Actually, I know there is, but outside of that, our panelists for some reason want to sleep.
Yeah.
Against the gamers who are like, we can go.
Right.
But
I don't know. Some of them gamers are getting up there, and it's fun to watch them sitting at the table, and just you can see them starting to nod off, and you worry, but then you realize that's how they want to go.
Yeah. This is their natural place.
Now,
But yeah, we have a couple big new events too, which I'm really excited about. The main one being the fantasy ball we're doing as a first year, and hopefully, something that we continue to do, along with all of our other events. Friday night, running a fantasy with all sorts of different fantasy, elements into it. A ball that they can then dance and stuff to, and eat, there's food at it, and they can snack and they can dance and dress up in their ball gowns and do the whole experience with a photo booth and everything. And
Wait,
so,
I hadn't heard about this. And I guess
dude.
we should clarify fantasy meaning like, Lord of the Rings and, whatever.
And,
that,
I mean-
that genre stuff. But
Well, I mean,
what does this look like? I didn't know you were doing this.
yeah, it's brand new. And I was like, it's something that we are starting to advertise now, but we have, for our first year, we're doing a fantasy ball, and really, I think it's a hope that it's one more thing that reaches our younger generations too, but it's all ages, and I think that we'll get some from all ages, but elements of fantasy across the board, and then, you can come in and there's food, you can get snacks or hors d'oeuvres rather, and you can dance, and there's music, and there'll be a photo booth, and the idea of those girls that want to wear their fairy wings, or you want to wear that ball gown, come and do that and add your elements in. It's a good year for it. It's the 40th year of the anniversary of the Labyrinth this year, and the 25th anniversary of Lord of the Rings. I think the last
perfect.
movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's an actual masquerade ball, so it's being run by masquerade staff.
That sounds interesting. I feel like who would love that, Brandon, is the anime kids. They love those balls, right? I mean,
they any excuse to break out a brand new cosplay or build a brand new cosplay.
yeah.
And if they can do it in a in a ball gown style, it'll be great to watch.
What day is that?
That's Friday night. It starts at 7:30 and will end about 10:30.
Okay, because it makes sense to me that you wouldn't want that to conflict with the cosplay contest,
Right, which
when
is the
that?
next night. The masquerade starts at 9. There's a children's masquerade earlier in the day, which works like a parade, and then the full show starts at 9 o'clock. But one is going to feed into another, and we're talking about doing a homecoming court with it so that, the best costumes and things can go on and even, get stuff for next year.
That's another thing, folks. If you're new to the convention scene, one thing you can't help but appreciate is all the craftsmanship that goes into these costumes and all the cosplay. And we should say too, cosplayers love for you to take their picture, but always ask permission. There's and don't touch anybody, and don't touch their wings. Don't be creepy, but also you don't you got to be careful because you don't want to break something and that they spent dozens of hours or maybe hundreds of hours working on. So
As the mantra goes, cosplay is not consent.
exactly. All right, so we're going to continue to talk about Mid-South Con 41 when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. I'd like to remind them that as a trusted TV personality, I can be helpful in rounding up others to toil in their underground sugar caves.
It's funny, that experience doesn't sound all that different from volunteers over at the convention.
That's true. That is true.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and Max over there behind the glass. And sitting in for our friend Alan Gilbreth is our other friends, Denise Hager, who's the head of programming for Mid-South Con, and Danny Chamberlin, who's the marketing director of Mid-South Con. If you're just tuning in, Mid-South Con number 41 is coming up March 20th and 22nd at the Vitality Hotel over there in East Memphis, right off of I-40 on Thousand Oaks Boulevard. And Brandon, it's not just a good time. They're actually doing good work.
I know. I don't know how how they can live
pull that off?
How they can live with themselves being such a an actual beneficial convention on top of everything else. Now, your main charity is Literacy Mid-South.
Correct.
But it's not the only one you guys work with.
So in the past, we've supported the Science Fiction Writers of America Emergency Medical Fund because authors do not have health plans.
No.
If their only income is from their authorship, they have no health plan. So oftentimes they, as is usual, they have problems paying for their health care. So we would help support the science fiction writers that have a fund for that.
So they don't actually have to be starving artists.
And
Right.
In the past, we've helped an orangutan charity before.
We've done blood drives.
Wait, what is that charity?
It was a long time ago. I don't remember all the details. I've had anesthesia since then.
Oh, okay. But
I
it
think that
sounds
was before my time.
Dude.
like a protection, like an animal.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be the same as donating to the elephant sanctuary in Hohenwald.
It was Mike Resnick when he was our one of our guests of
It
honor.
was so great.
Wanted to donate to that. So
That's kinda cool.
We designated that as one of our charities for that year. But yes, Mid-South Con is actually run by Memphis Science and Fiction Conventions Incorporated. It's a 501c3 corporation, and we use Mid-South Con to raise money for these charities through various means. When you go to register, you'll see an option for a Consuite giveaway or a premium upgrade. It's had different terms over the years. Every dollar, every dime of that upgrade goes directly to our charities. That's one of our main fundraising arms. We also have other events throughout the weekend.
Like Extra Life.
We have a charity auction and art auction. As a charity auction inside of our art auction, all of which goes to the charities. And sometimes we'll have books for sale in the Consuite, and all the money collected for those book sales and goes to our charity.
Cool.
And
now
there's events like Extra Life too, which is kind of like Jump Rope for Heart, but for gaming.
Right. Now, but like I said at the beginning of the segment, your main charity is Literacy Mid-South. Now, for those not in the know, tell us a little bit about that charity.
Literacy Mid-South is one of the biggest problems we have is adult illiteracy. Or illiteracy in general, but a big focus is on adult illiteracy. And Memphis and Literacy Mid-South, my old person calls them Memphis Literacy Council because that's what it used to be called back in the day. It's now Literacy Mid-South. And they run programs to help teach adults how to read, and which is so vital nowadays, especially in our connected, always-on, look-at-the-screen society.
Yeah, and people aren't reading as much. I hate to say it.
No, they're not.
Even people. I used to read. I'd go through probably 10 books a year, and now I'm ashamed to say, Brandon, I don't read as much as I used to. So I have to make myself stop and read. So that's definitely a worthy one.
I mean, we could totally get into the full on mental health breakdown of why people are walking away from reading, but that's I don't have enough time in this segment to get into that. That would have to be a off the books episode.
But it's one of my favorite things to promote is that, by coming, you're helping charity. It's like, I don't know, it's part of what makes me feel so good about this is that we really we're not just getting our geek on, we're doing something good with it too.
Yeah. And I would have to say too, generally speaking, you all seem to be pretty, you always pick charities that pretty much nobody can argue with. Who can argue with helping, fight illiteracy and everything? So generally speaking, y'all are out there doing good. It pains me to, compliment Danny, but Danny, you guys are doing a good job, man. So, but it's fun. It's wrapped in a fun package, though.
One of these days, we are going to lay it out and squash this beef between the two of you because that makes no sense.
Well, he's a Cardinals fan, and he's always making fun of my Cubs and stuff.
I get
anyway.
That.
But no, it's fun. It's good stuff, and it's coming up too. So I would also recommend just pre-register.
Always pre-register.
Is there still a discount? When does the discount end?
No, the discount ended at come January, I think.
Okay. But generally speaking, if you order way in advance, if you just plan things out, most conventions do offer a discount.
Yeah,
so.
I was like, it was staged up, so it was $10 or $15 less, and then another $5 and then another $5 closer to the price.
Yeah.
So the sooner you register each year, the better, or volunteer.
And the good news is you're over at the Vitality. Well, it's good for us. You're like 5 minutes from my house, which I like. But
and like Denise said, if let's say you want to attend but you're having some issues affording it, volunteer. That's how our convention runs. We run on our volunteers, and if you volunteer enough hours, you will get your admission to the convention for free.
Well, there you go.
And on top of that,
and it's fun.
And on top of that, because we're a 501c3, we can give student hours. There's a lot of high schools that now require community credits, and we actually can grant those because we are a community charity.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So folks, check it out, and it's just plain fun. And it's, if you've never been to a convention before, it's a great gateway because you all run the gamut. So go to midsouthcon.com. Also follow you on Facebook, right?
Midsouthcon.org.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Joe.
Okay, March 20th through 22nd. So it's good, and we'll be over there too. And
you better be.
And we'll be visiting again before we get there, but not today because the show's over. We got to get out of here, you guys. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Danny Chamberlin.
I'm Denise Hager.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted. And on behalf of Alan Gilbreth, I can't believe Joe doesn't read anymore.